tells us that this pathway of achieving wisdom also involves us being open to this flower of life. Okay, and this is an interesting symbol if you haven't seen this. The flower of life that shows up. Okay, so this crazy circular object with these little petals in it that have a Vesica-Pisces relationship that turns out to be the feed ratio, showed up in Egypt and several other places that Drunvallo had in his book, Ancient Secret of the Flower Life Volume 2. Okay. But he's talking about being open to this. Well, it turns out when this crystal structure that's in the halls of Mente, where these 32 avatars are, plus the cycle masters, 3 through 9, are in close proximity to this thing because it has a huge energetic effect on their constructs and the ability to create all matter. Wow. So he's talking about this not only being able to extend our consciousness, but it also is involved in this lighting coding of the reality matrix of what we see in the simulator, in this holographic reality that our eyes, only sensitive to 400 to 700 nanometers, can see. So it's crazy. He tells you be open to that. Well, I've been open to that. I actually used to draw this symbol on my didgeridoos using just a compass. So it's a ratio thing. Once you figure out the ratios and where to put the compass, you can actually draw it quite readily.
Don't they, that symbol gets reproduced with sound pattern when they put those certain frequencies?
Yeah, well, when we talk about cymatics, the platonic solids also appear to be able to be formed just through frequency. So, maybe skipping this one. Notice he was able to occupy bodies as an avatar among us. So how would you tell he was a human or an avatar? Right? That's a problem all over the world. And as a matter of fact, in the Middle-Aged church, when they were hunting down witches, one of the biggest fears they had was they realized that these ancient astronauts could overtake your body, and they used to insinuate that, you know, this is the basis of demon possession and need to be exercised, right? Well, it could be a good or bad entity depending on what chakra you decide to occupy, right? So think about this. If you're occupying your first chakra and none of the others, what entities could occupy 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
See, that's another
Yeah. So if you fully own your own energy, then you're going to have less incursions from the outside unless you permit it.
What is the power of the old hand?
Well, this is the ability to manifest objects with simply a thought. You know what I mean? And when you read about what Thoth says, he was talking about the dweller of Atlantis building mile upon mile of the city using just his thoughts. So he built his temple with his mind. He didn't have a bunch of workers out there going, what about the Giza pyramid? Was that built with somebody's mind or with a bunch of workers? So Thoth apparently himself was specified to be the preserver of wisdom through the ages of darkness as well. Through the dweller, okay? So the dweller we know now to be Poseidon, his father. So remember, Anchises had his first son Marduk, but he also had a son named Shida with this woman that he later rescues in the tablets, the Lady of Light, or Reshid-No. That's his mother, when you see the genealogy table.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting to me. I told you the Dark Lords were summoned by these greedy men on Atlantis, according to the record, and it's talked about here. And that's why the dweller ended up going and meeting with the cycle masters to cause a flood to destroy the portal. That's what happened to Atlantis.
I wanted to bring this up, and I'm going to forget it. Do you ever listen to, what's his name? Not Peter King, the Bible scholar King, I forget his first name, but he was talking about CERN. And his contention is that what's really happening with CERN is the Dark Lords are trying to open the portal.
Yeah,
So
well, there's the thoughts about that. If you look at the CERN symbol with the 3 6s going in a circle, and then, is it Shiva or Kali doing the dance? It's a Shiva, the destroyer, doing a dance, and they have a statue of it out in front of the place. You're like, what are you guys up to over here?
But that's what he says, that they're actually trying to do that.
It could very well be. It could be that they're either opening a dimensional portal to allow these dark entities back into it. I think they're already here.
Maybe
they're opening a portal to let him out before the dweller comes back and destroys him. I think that's.
I like that.
And the other thing about
Go back
CERN
down
is,
the hole.
what concerns me about CERN is the degree with which it could either produce dark matter that could possibly destroy our order of existence that we don't know about, or more tangible from an engineering standpoint, imagine it could create a magnetic field that's 10 times stronger than the North Pole magnet of our Earth, the North to South Pole. So if they could create a very strong magnetic field on this planet, knowing the sun is sensitive to magnetic fields, imagine these two magnets start interacting. So to me, it seems like whoever is running CERN is holding this entire planet and this holographic reality hostage to get what they want as Dark Lords in this negotiation between the rising of Atlantis and the New World Order coming head to head. That's what it seems like to me.
It's a chip.
Yeah, they're playing hardcore chess.
Oh,
Yeah,
Is it the dark forces have CERN?
I believe so. Their symbols are all over it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, why would you?
Yeah.
Listen, you just saw the power of Yolton, right? Why not study that, how you take light interacting with the periodic table of elements to produce matter, versus destroying matter to try to destructively backward engineer it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This reverse engineering destruction thing that they're doing at CERN is just the opposite of the power of Yolton. You see that? So that's why I'm going to focus on the power of Yolton and I'm not going to spend so much time on what they're doing at CERN. But although I'm very concerned, and it's happening right now. I mean, they're turning the thing on, they're taking it up beyond the threshold voltage that they've ever tested. As a matter of fact, some woman just wrote a book about being an insider at CERN who left after seeing them take it up to 38 teravolts. Yeah, wow. Well, they're broadcasting and telling you, yeah, we're at 7 and 8, we're going to go up to 15. Well, guess what? 40 is the max that they've ever even considered. So she's saying they took it up to 38. Wow. And busted open a portal, somebody that disappeared in the vortex, they did it again, brought them back. Just crazy stuff this woman wrote about. Yeah. So who knows the truth about what's going on in CERN? Who knows the truth? Only the insiders would know.
Wow.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. Do you realize in Iraq they found a circular structure that showed up exactly like in the, was it the Wrath of Khan, where they had the Stardate? They looked at, they had taken that picture from Iraq and used it in that movie. Well, so we know that in Uruk, where Gilgamesh was, and also in the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, actually in Nippur, before they moved the mission control up there, the advanced Anunnaki were not coming in craft. They were coming through portals.
The same one in Machu Picchu.
Exactly. I think that's why the Temple Mount is so controversial, is because there's still one there. The one in Uruk, I think, ultimately got either taken over by the United States when we invaded in 1991, while Saddam was trying to get to it. Remember, he was excavating Uruk when we invaded. Anyway, Thoth is ordered to gather, once Atlantis is destroyed, by the Dweller, working with the Cycle Masters, using an advanced technique to wall the earth and cause a huge flood. He's ordered to get these people from Atlantis and take their records and head off to Egypt, where he's then given a mission, later on you'll see, to wake up these hairy barbarians and preserve the knowledge and the wisdom of Atlantis. Okay. He also describes hiding the spacecraft that they went over there in, underneath the Sphinx and placing the records in the pyramids. Well, no wonder people have been over there trying to find this while Howard Sawat's is going, they know this.
I just wonder if they found it, the ship.
I believe they probably have. They probably reverse engineered it. So it ended up in World War II as one of these, crazy bell-shaped craft that have patents on.
The Nazi guys.
Let's jump over to Tablet 6. Now, we did a little reading from Tablet 6 on banishing darkness, but I think this tablet is so important because us as avatars, if we truly believe this is true and you use this knowledge, it makes you extremely powerful and dangerous for the Dark Lords. Okay? They don't want you to know this.
Then you cannot have to be
So that's why I really like this one. And learning this information by memory. Spend some time and memorize it because you may end up needing it. he talks about this historical battle with dark and light as he comes in as an avatar, bringing 32 avatars with him to the earth. Okay? Realizing that we were enslaved by these dark lords. That's why they came to unenslave us. So they came here to help us from the very beginning, way back when, realizing these forces were at war. So, very interesting. And, you know, when you see what's going on at Bohemian Grove, sacrificing children and the cremation care and all this, you'll see that when he tells you where the rituals and the blood are being performed, the dark lords will be present. So that's why I got very concerned when I saw what was going on down here in Mexico. Like, when did this human sacrifice thing really start? Okay?
Right.
When did it start? I don't believe it was under Thoth's command because he teaches against it. All right? The ones that, it seems like everywhere where the sons of light went, the Dark Lord would come after it and pervert the symbols, pervert the customs, the rituals, as a form of enslavement.
Right.
And we've seen that all over the world. The smearing of Isis's name, a bunch of barbarians, right? The smearing of the holder of the trident being the devil, right? How many times have you seen a picture of the devil with a pitchfork with 3 of them? They have smeared all of them, and Nishida too. You know, he's been equated with all kinds of demonic things. Look at the symbol of the, you know, the upright star, it's Isis's star, and you take it over, and all of a sudden now it's an evil pentagram. Well, actually, it just denoted Ham Zarathustra, who was Thoth.
But the thing is that so many people take all this information on board.
Yeah.
You know, like 98% of the people, oh yes, that's true.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're easily influenced by culture, and symbols are very powerful. And, you know, if the church says that one's evil, the dragon, the pentagram are associated with evil, that's what it is.
I didn't understand that till I came here. We'll tell you about the book.
Yeah.
That all that stuff was actually okay.
Well,
You know?
it's only a symbol representing the entity. So really it's the attributes of the entity,
They
right?
always show the devil with a star. And
Exactly. Well, then what really got me confused was why the Church of Satan had adopted the symbols of Thoth to smear him. Why? Right? That's exactly what happened.
What was it?
Exactly. The Church of Satan, through this Baphomet symbol, took all of Thoth's symbols and incorporated them into their religion to smear it, as far as I'm concerned. They took the pentagram, the caduceus, right? And all the black goat of Mendes, who was Ham. They took all that symbolism and put it in one thing and adopted it and made it part of a dark religion. Just to smear him. And he got it worse than Poseidon and Isis both. Or Enki and Ninhartsog both. They both got smeared. So all of our creators and progenitors that are on our team, they've been made out to be evil. So the greatest deception in my mind of all is the great destroyers become God and our creators become the devil. That's exactly what has happened. The greatest deception of all.
And if you think about it, everything in America is upside down.
Yes.
The justice system is unjust.
But you know what? I think it's been done that way. Yeah, I think it's been done that way for us to compare and contrast these societal governing models. Societal governing models, you know, there's Marxism and communism. So you can see the fruit of the spirit of these models and determine which way you're going to choose. So going along and getting along with the culture in the United States is choosing evil because of what's being manifested in it. So that's why we're not there.
That's right. I just agree.
Yeah. And you can see Thoth, he talks about these dark entities being able to affect your mind and your dream state. Well, we talked about HARP and ELF and being able to get in there. Now scientifically you can see that he's not kidding. It's happening. These are real programs and they're not in denial about it. This is good to know. Not only are the dark forces at work, but these light forces are too. So you look around the world and go, well, why does the darkness seem to be outweighing the light? Well, it may have to do with the zodiacal timing of when they're allowed to relinquish control and assert the new tenets for this age. And I think there's a cleanup process that happens the Christians call it the tribulation, right? So there's a small period between this handover of command where all the accounting is done, where these ones belong to me and those ones belong to you, and you're in my territory now and you got to get out. All the culling that goes on. I think that's happening right now, actually. Right before the Great War, you'll see it's coming. This was the first thing he tells you to do before you summon the cycle masters to try to route it out, right? So somebody just told me that they were trying this in order to get bad thoughts from reoccurring with them, that they actually, using their awareness to address and do the final battle that we have, is distinguishing whether our thought is accepted or rejected. You may not be able to determine where the thought came from, but you can accept or reject it. That's our job, being responsible. But if that fails, you can't get rid of it, it keeps coming back, then he tells you to do this standing ritual where we did this one while we were out at the pyramid. So I memorized that one a long time ago. I've used it many times. And Thoth encourages us to really think about the fact that once you've done this, to realize how important, how powerful that is when you realize it goes on. It's very, very important. Imagine these entities in the halls of entity hearing their names called by a primitive worker who realizes what they're up against. It's important. Yeah, exactly. And he also tells you, don't do it just for yourself. If your brother's trapped in darkness, do it for them, because it has the same effect. And this, I actually just wrote it out here so you can see it. I know it's in the book, and it's also I just decided to put it up here so you can see the full words. So here's where we started. Use these words. Fill my body with the spirit of life. Fill my body with the spirit of life. Come from the flower that shines in the darkness. Come from the halls where the seven lords rule. Whether in this midst of the halls of Mente, surrounded by this crystal that's emanating this frequency. I'm not sure why you have to do it in a place that's dark, but I was thinking inside a cave would be a really neat place to do this. Okay. We won't go through this, but here you can see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is the cycle master that coordinates all the other ones. And there are their names that
Did you say them?
Untanas, Huertas, Chietl, and Goyana. Huertal, Sebeta, and Ardal. So this is number 9, and this is number 3. This guy is your root chakra, take you to the bar and get drunk controller. And this one is the final one who's dealing with your crown chakra to say, are you going to be able to have astral projection experiences and out-of-body experiences and so on and so forth. So these are your chakra cops as far as I'm concerned. They have different names in the Hindu religion, but I believe they're the same ones. What do you think, Satal? Do you think that could be possibly correct?
Yeah.
I think too. It just resonates with me. It feels right. So.
I've been saying when I start feeling that I'm constantly attacked by my own thoughts. I keep thinking them. But if I just read that card that I wrote with that, it does stop it.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I don't know why, but it does.
It's hard to know how these avatars interact with our energy body that turns into thinking and so forth, but it always works for me too.
There's a story in the about it.
It does. I just read it, I have a card. I read it tonight, and I stop thinking about so much. Let me come back again.
It also appears in different places at the same time.
I think there's a very strong
Yeah,
correlation.
they tie them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the Mahabharata? Read those stories about them?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
I have a movie from years ago.
Yeah.
They said if you get through the movie, you would become enlightened, but it didn't work.
It's like the right foot for me.
That's the end of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So this tablet number 7 about the 7 lords, he starts kind of laying out their functional roles of what each one does. I think that's just fascinating. That each of these cycle masters has a specific function in the evolution of time as it merges toward this place he calls infinity, that eventually our concept of infinity will change in itself. So this is really hard to wrap your head around, but I put that in the bullet point so you can think about it. Here he's talking about communicating telepathically. So You don't have to say their name, but you can just think it.
Exactly. Because a lot of times I don't say it, I just think.
Exactly.
You know.
All right, we're halfway there. We'll get on that. Some new stuff.
Have you visited there yet yourself? Have you 7 hours in
Well, you know, when I was early on in my life, when I was having out-of-body experiences, I was more like, I want to visit my relative who's over in this other state. Or I want to go and see if I can pinch him and make a bruise on him and then come back and call him and see if it was where I thought it was. Or I want to move this object. I was constantly trying to prove myself that what I was experiencing wasn't just lucid dreaming. And this is interesting experiences will fall in this category. I may need to write a book about that, but I had a really crazy experience last night. I think I need to write it down and process it and talk to Christa about it. But it was profound, really profound. So check this out. I'm talking about this holographic state of reality, and that sounds like a far-fetched idea. Maybe not so much to you guys now, but listen to what thought says. For you know that which is formed is truly formless, having form only to our eyes. Remember I told you this false perception illusion of transient matter because we can only see 400 to 700 nanometers. Right? We are. We only get to see what they show us. Right? That's crazy. Otherwise we got infrared, we see all these other spectrums, what we tell them. So we're very much enslaved by our perception of the material world. That's the illusion of cause.
Everything in space.
Exactly. Actually, this is interesting from a Hindu, Kali Yuga, Satya Yuga kind of thought cycle about ages and cycles and wobbles of galaxies and planets. Clearly, these cycle masters were affiliated with each of those in different ways. The GCR is the Galactic Center. I believe, personally, that the Mayan calendar passing through stating that our solar system is passing through the Milky Way galaxy at the end of that Tzolk'in count has a lot to do with triggering our latent circuits in our body to take us to the highest place of consciousness. And actually, there were several lines of thought and teachings that indicate that. So the idea of a energy catalyst that could change your DNA such that you were in a heightened state of your consciousness at the time that there was a harvest going on makes a lot of sense to me. So that's what the great year was all about, as far as I'm concerned. This great year is your opportunity to escape this holographic reality of enslavement and become a higher being, if that's what you choose to do. And he teaches you the knowledge in here how to do that. So it's like, what a timely thing to be talking about while we're in that space right now. You know, right up against the edge of possibly destruction of World War III. And all, external events with planets possibly coming by, and poisoning through radiation, and a super volcano going off. I mean, there's all these potential ways that all these avatars can disappear partly overnight. So the fact that we're doing what we're doing right now, I can't imagine anything I'd rather be doing than trying to achieve our highest state of awareness and consciousness while the end's about to come, right? So we're doing our last bit of cramming before the final exam, right?
Exactly.
And I truly believe that this heightened energy at the galactic center that's caused by the Milky Way galaxy black hole that's flattening, even sucking light in. You realize how strong this black hole is? Not even light can escape. That's how strong it is. So the fact that our solar system is going to pass through this and is probably in part of it right now, to me, is why people are waking up en masse on this planet. Kind of is causing part of the 100 monkey theory that you're seeing going on. It's happening. 10 years ago, talking about the guru and the Anunnaki Realm. Look at now. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Even people from another country looking through the window or coming in wanting to be part of that.
Right.
From a Muslim country. And that really warms my heart, actually, to be honest with you. that tells me there's a real potential that this could really happen. Now, this is kind of interesting. That a future age, are we getting close, or is it the next one? That we'll all merge back into the one together. So we'll all go from these material, disparate forms back into the origins of all of it, which is light. So we'll all become light beings. I don't know how you sleep if it's light all the time.
You don't need it.
And so knowing about this at this galactic, the special and in-date tiempo is very beneficial to be prepared and get as far as you can get. Right? It's like studying the rules of a game and then playing the game as well as you can play. And life is a game, is it not?
Yeah. How are we going to learn the space-time cycles?
What's that?
How are we going to learn the space-time cycles from the tablets?
Well, he talks about functionally in Tablet 7 what each of the cycle masters are functionally allocated to do. And each one of them basically creates a spiritual challenge for you as your energy begins to change. So when your energy goes from the first chakra to the second chakra, you're going to be presented, you're probably going to have some darkness pouring past you, you can transmute it. That's generally how it shows up, right? So you can overcome, be a hero at that point, own that chakra, and then there's no going back once you do that. Once you go through the gate, there's no going back. Okay? So, and this is described in the Tibetan Book of the Dead and also in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And also in the yogic tradition, is that you're going to be challenged in the physical world and your spiritual world when you bump up against these chakras. I mean, otherwise, everybody would have it right. The Dark Lords were summoned by these greedy men on Atlantis, according to the record, and it's talked about here. And that's why the Dweller ended up going and meeting with the Cycle Masters to cause a flood to destroy the portal. That's what happened to Atlantis.
I wanted to bring this up, and I'm going to forget it. Do you ever listen to, what's his name? Not Peter King, the Bible scholar King, I forget his first name, but he was talking about CERN, and his contention is that what's really happening with CERN is the Dark Lords are trying to open the portal.
Yeah,
So
well, there's the thoughts about that. If you look at the CERN symbol with the 3 6s going in a circle, and then, is it Shiva or Kali doing the dance? It's a Shiva, the destroyer, doing a dance, and they have a statue of it out in front of the place. You're like, what are you guys up to over here?
But that's what he says, that they're actually trying to do that.
It could very well be. It could be that they're either opening a dimensional portal to allow these dark entities back into it. I think they're already here. Maybe they're opening a portal to let them out before the Dweller comes back and destroys them. I think that's
I like that.
And the other thing about
Go back
CERN
down
is,
the hole.
what concerns me about CERN is the degree with...
Yeah, that's another
Yeah. So, if you fully own your own energy, then you're going to have less incursions from the outside unless you permit it.
What is the power of the old town?
Well, this is the ability to manifest objects with simply a thought. You know what I mean? And when you read about what Thoth says, he was talking about the Dweller of Atlantis building mile upon mile of the city using just his thoughts. So he built his temple with his mind. He didn't have a bunch of workers out there going, all right, what about the Giza Pyramid? Was that built with somebody's mind or with a bunch of workers? So Thoth apparently himself was specified to be the preserver of wisdom through the ages of darkness as well, through the Dweller. Okay, so the Dweller we know now to be Poseidon, his father. So remember, Anchises had his first son Marduk, but he also had a son named Shida with this woman that he later rescues in the tablets, the Lady of Light, or Reshid, no, that's his mother, when you see the genealogy table.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting to me. So, well, I've been open to that. I actually used to draw this symbol on my didgeridoos using just a compass. So it's a ratio thing. Once you figure out the ratios and where to put the compass, you can actually draw it quite readily.
Don't they, that symbol gets reproduced with sound pattern when they put this certain frequency?
Yeah, well, when we talk about cymatics, the platonic solids also appear to be able to be formed just through frequency. So, maybe skipping this one. Notice he was able to occupy bodies as an avatar among us. So how would you tell he was a human or an avatar? Right? That's a problem all over the world. And as a matter of fact, in the Middle Age church, when they were hunting down witches, one of the biggest fears they had was they realized that these ancient astronauts could overtake your body. And they used to insinuate that, this is the basis of demon possession and need to be exorcised, right? Well, it could be a good or bad entity depending on what chakra you decide to occupy, right? So think about this. If you're occupying your first chakra and none of the others, what entities could occupy 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which it could either produce dark matter that could possibly destroy our order of existence that we don't know about, or more tangible from an engineering standpoint, imagine it could create a magnetic field that's 10 times stronger than the North Pole magnet of our Earth, the North to South Pole. So if they could create a very strong magnetic field on this planet, knowing the sun is sensitive to magnetic fields, imagine these two magnets start interacting. So to me, it seems like whoever is running CERN is holding this entire planet and this holographic reality hostage to get what they want as Dark Lords in this negotiation between the rising of Atlantis and the New World Order coming head to head. That's what it seems like to me.
It's a chip.
Yeah, they're playing hardcore chess.
Is it the dark forces have CERN?
I believe so. Their symbols are all over it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, why would you?
Yeah.
Listen, you just saw the power of Yolton, right? Why not study that, how you take light interacting with the periodic table of elements to produce matter, versus destroying matter to try to destructively backward engineer it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This reverse engineering destruction thing that they're doing at CERN tells us that this pathway of achieving wisdom also involves us being open to this flower of life. Okay, and this is an interesting symbol if you haven't seen this, the flower of life that shows up. Okay, so this crazy circular object with these little petals in it that have a Vesica Pisces relationship that turns out to be the feed ratio, showed up in Egypt and several other places that Drunvalo had in his book, Ancient Secret of the Flower Life Volume 2. Okay. But he's talking about being open to this. Well, it turns out that this crystal structure that's in the halls of Mente, where these 32 avatars are, plus the cycle masters, 3 through 9, are in close proximity to this thing because it has a huge energetic effect on their constructs and the ability to create all matter. Wow. So he's talking about this not only being able to extend our consciousness, but it also is involved in this lighting coding of the reality matrix of what we see in the simulator, in this holographic reality that our eyes, only sensitive to 400 to 700 nanometers, can see. So it's crazy. He tells you, be open.